And I was just like, I have to do this. I need to cover the world in better products and better aprons and give people the sense of dignity and pride that's missing in the kitchen. And it quickly morphed from just the kitchen to carpenters and painters and bakers and potters. And I kind of like accidentally stumbled on a huge opportunity because I realized that people in the kitchen weren't the only people wearing aprons. It was also, Google and SpaceX and Yahoo and Four Seasons and humongous companies all over the world that also had terrible uniforms.
And so here we had this dilemma, this fact.
I've spent almost a decade researching this subject.
Every aspect of your metabolic health improves.
From the Hint offices in San Francisco, I'm Kara Goldin, founder and CEO of Hint. You may have tried Hint water before, but this is my podcast. Each week, we talk to some of the most creative entrepreneurs, from world-touring pop stars like Jay Sean to the people behind favorite Instagram accounts, including So Yummy, New York City, and even YouTubers like Sarah Dietschy. So the million-dollar question, what does it really take to be unstoppable? Let's find out. Hey, Unstoppable listeners, welcome back to the show. I'm here with Ellen Bennett of Hedley Bennett, and I'm so excited to have her on the show. Ellen is a line cook turned designer, and today we go back to the very beginning with her. She tells us how she turned an apron business into a multi-million-dollar culinary lifestyle brand. She has designed aprons for Google, David Cheng, Martha Stewart, and just about every show on the Food Network. She is selling thousands and thousands of aprons weekly. And at the core of it all, she says it's all about community. You're going to love Ellen's story. Now sit back and enjoy the show. Ellen, thank you so much for being here. So Ellen Bennett, apron lady, founder and CEO.
Yep.
Huge. Thank you for coming and meeting with us today. So we're here in West Hollywood, everyone.
In the cutest bungalows ever.
The cutest. And Charlie Chaplin used to live here. And we found this great space on TripAdvisor. And I was looking for a place where we could stay and actually have a little living room to be able to do these talks. So we're very, very excited about this whole living room opportunity. We should talk to TripAdvisor about this, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm giving them so many
plugs.
Sponsored. I know.
Come on, guys.
We need to get the
Pull it
sponsor,
together.
right? So anyway, Ellen, super excited to have you here and talk. And I should also say that Ellen and I have met before because we were both EY winning women. Yay! So I was 2012 and Ellen was 2017. And so basically, I want to hear all about Apron Lady and how, let's start there. How did you decide to do this company?
Yeah.
And you're based out of LA, but I'm going to let you take it from here.
So I started Hedley Bennett 6 years ago. We just had our 6-year anniversary on yesterday, actually, July 5th. And I decided I wanted to have this company because I hated the way our uniforms looked and felt. And I felt like there was a huge hole in the market in the restaurant world. I was a line cook. I was working at a 2 Michelin star restaurant, and we just were making insanely beautiful food, yet we all looked and felt like shit. And it's kind of like an athletic team when you're in a kitchen. Everyone is working towards a goal and a mission, and you're like going down in flames and you're trying to get the goal. And I was just like, it's so bizarre to me that no one is thinking about the people in the kitchen. It's just like, get the food out, get this out, make that happen, but not the humans behind it. So this idea sparked there, and everyone was like, that's cute. That sounds really sweet. Like, good luck with your cute idea of making aprons for people. Like, that sounds lovely. It was very diminutive when I started it. And I was just like, you know what? This is so much bigger than an apron. The apron is the conduit of the message, but really it's about the people wearing the product. And so I just started street by street, chef by chef. I went to the farmer's market and I set up a little stand. I got a chef who I used to cook for, and he actually got somebody that was going to make him aprons. And he was like, would you like to buy one of these aprons I'm getting this girl to do for us? And I was like, chef, I have an apron company. I will do those aprons. And I had shit. I had nothing. I literally had no aprons. I didn't even have a pattern. I just had the idea. And I convinced this guy to drop this chick, give me the order of 40 aprons. And that was basically how Hedley Bennett started. So no money, $300 out of my house 6 years ago, and a hell of a lot of like gumption, call it. And I was just like, I have to do this. I need to cover the world in better products and better aprons and give people the sense of dignity and pride that's missing in the kitchen. And it quickly morphed from just the kitchen to carpenters and painters and bakers and potters. And I kind of like accidentally stumbled on a huge opportunity because I realized that people in the kitchen weren't the only people wearing aprons. It was also, Google and SpaceX and Yahoo and Four Seasons and humongous companies all over the world that also had terrible uniforms. And the only companies that existed were giant conglomerates from overseas, and they didn't really care about the people. They were just like, oh, it's a polycotton apron and we make it overseas for $5 and call it a day. And I was like, well, let's make it with Japanese denim. Let's make it with beautiful fabric. Brass hardware. Let's not use plastic. Let's use American webbing that lays flat around your neck. Like, let's make it fit well. Let's use cuts from Helmut Lang and, beautiful brands that know what they're doing in clothing. And so I sort of brought like fashion and function to the kitchen, all while everyone was like, that sounds so sweet and cute and little. And I was just like, get out of my way. We're going to do this. Yeah. And so now we like outfit thousands of restaurants all over the U.S.
What are your biggest clients?
I mean, David Cheng, Martha Stewart, every single show pretty much on the Food Network wears Hedley and Bennett. We're at Williams-Sonoma, Sur La Table, Whole Foods, Heath Ceramics, Stephen Allen, Nordstrom. We're doing a collaboration with Vans. We're making shoes for the kitchen. Like, this is be turned into this like lifestyle world that, again, it was the root of the mission that was what made us different.
So the apron lady, how did that end up?
It's so funny. So I used to call myself Ellen the Apron Lady. And the reason that happened was I would meet chefs and I'd be like, here, give me your phone. And I would punch my number in. I'd be like, Ellen, the Apron Lady, so they could remember me. Or a chef would be like, oh, you got to meet Ellen, the Apron Lady. Like, in the world of food, it's like, oh, you got to meet the mushroom guy. You got to meet the pottery lady. You got to meet the guy, all the vendors. And for a long time, that was totally my MO. I was like, yeah, I'm just an apron lady. And I'm curious if this ever happened to you, but about 4 years into Hedley and Bennett, we got a 16,000 square foot factory. Like, this was a real business. This was not a joke. This was not in my house. Like, I had just given my staff health care and 401ks. And, I was 28 at the time, I'm 30 now. And it just kind of like hit me. Yeah. The seat I had created at this table of life, call it. And I was like, you know what? You're no longer this just little cute apron lady. Yeah. Like, you're the CEO of this company. Yeah. Own it. Like, own the shoes you've built for yourself. And I mentally made this switch where I was like, I'm a CEO. I'm not an apron lady. I actually run this company and I created this out of nothing and I have to own it. And I kind of was not owning it by calling myself an apron lady. I was just like, I'm just this girl that works here at this thing that I made.
Well, and it's much more than aprons.
Totally.
Right. So,
totally. So that's been like my own evolution of like owning what I've made, which I feel like almost every entrepreneur I've ever spoken to has that like moment where they shift and they're like, oh yeah, I did this. Okay, I got to own it,
And did you grow up here in LA?
I did. I'm an Angelino.
Where
did you grow up?
Arizona.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. So, but spent a lot of time in New York, and then we're based in San Francisco. So, yeah. So super, super fun. So you were at almost 40 people? Is that?
Yeah, we are between 40 to 50, depending on like sewing capacities. But on average, it's like 45 is our typical number.
So you've gone from just aprons to uniforms. So, I mean, you talked a little bit about this before, but so if somebody just decides that they want consistency amongst, their team in terms of what they wear, if Dry Bar, for example, wanted to have something in there where everything is super consistent, would that be something that they could call you guys to design?
So we can totally do stuff like that, but we also do a ton of custom work. So it's like, if you guys are like, I love yellow and I love red and I want to do something that's custom to those colors. For Google, for example, we made like a whole collection of colors that matched all the Google letters. And we can do it to a Pantone match. And we have a whole team of designers internally that create mock-ups and digital scans and everything so that you have exactly what you get.
This is so cool.
Yeah, it's really customized and amazing. But then we also have a whole collection we create online. And what's really exciting is that we take custom designs and see what's sort of trending in our custom world. And then we take all that it's like our focus group. And then we take that and we put it online and we sell it on our site. And then we end up getting a lot of the designs from customers. Like we've had people say, I have neck problems. Okay, I don't want a strap that goes around my neck. I'm going to do crossback apron. So then we invent a crossback apron for them. And we're like, that's a great freaking idea. Let's sell it on our website. And it becomes our number one item. So it's just listening to your customers in the restaurant world and then realizing they're just really functional. Everything they do is so smart, efficient, and better. So then we take that and put it into our direct to consumer channels too.
That's awesome. And so this is not just a B2B play.
No,
I mean,
not at all.
It's definitely B2B. And
I mean,
B2C.
we're a full-blown omni-channel company. We sell online, we sell in retailers, we do collaborations. We also do partnerships with people. We have partnerships with Don Julio, Samsung, Pellegrino. We host events in our space. We bring community together. We've built a world around us called the Apron Squad, and it's everyone that cares about those details. It's our aprons aren't for everyone because not everyone wants to spend, what our aprons cost, but it's about believing that you can and that you should be proud of what you're doing and putting something on that you're proud of. Like a Nike, I actually am a runner, but when I first started running, I went to Nike and I bought a really great Nike outfit. And I was like, I'm a runner now. Yeah. And I held my head up high and then I went and ran the New York Marathon.
Yeah, it made you feel good.
It's if you believe it, you can do it. So same idea.
That's awesome. So you went from being a chef to deciding that you wanted to wear great stuff. How did you make that first step to actually, did you sew? Did you
No, I don't even know how to sew, which is crazy. But I love design. And I've always had this sort of knack at seeing something for what it could be and never for what it is. Even with people, with my employees, I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to show this and I got to teach them how to do that. And I took the idea of an apron and made it that much better. But it was just about improving people's perspectives on themselves, improving the uniform. And so we just took the bare bone basics and sat with chefs and would say, what do you hate about it? What do you like about it? And essentially, I was my own version of McKinsey. I was my own focus group with my chefs. And they all told me exactly what was wrong with everything. And then combined with my design sense and their own functionalities, we've made the perfect aprons and a lot of trial and error. And I wasn't afraid to mess up. So my first aprons stunk. They were terrible. And my chef called me in because, by the way, I was working for the guy, right? So he called me in after I delivered the order and he was like, Bennett, these straps suck. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to lose my job. This is my own one and only client. I have to make things right. Yeah. And so I was like, give me half of them. You use the other half and I'm going to figure out what to do to make it right. And he was like, okay, fine. And the strap system that we created to this day, which is really amazing, is the same thing that I invented on that spot with a gun to my head. But it's just sort of those are the circumstances you sometimes have to put yourself in to make things happen. If I had been at my living room, kitchen, just sitting there trying to figure out what the perfect apron was, I don't know that I could have done it if it wasn't like this.
And are there minimums that people
Yeah, I mean, you can, one person can call us and say, I want to do a custom one run of an apron. We do that because we do all of our manufacturing in-house. So we have that capacity. But then someone can call us and say, we want to do 1,000 and our minimum is 50 units. So it's it's not a lot. Yeah. But yeah, we do thousands and thousands of aprons weekly. And now we do chef coats and work shirts. We do the shoes. We do chef socks. We're working on a collection with Parachute Home and that's all linen and beautiful and pot holders and napkins and, kitchen towels. We just did a launch with a Rifle Paper Company, which is a beautiful brand. And, So we did a bunch of florals. And so we love to team up with other people in the same way that we've teamed up with chefs from day one. Now we team up with businesses and say, you bring this to the table and we bring this to the table. Let's make something beautiful.
I mean, that's not a lot of people in the company, 40.
No.
I mean, it's amazing.
It's totally, I still own it 100%. So we don't have, I think because of that, we've been able to find ways to be really resourceful and, have our team manage what we have coming our way. And we control our inventory. Everyone's in the same place. So it's fully vertical in that sense. And I think that you can do a lot with people.
What are your thoughts on raising money?
I am not personally, I don't want to go down that route. And we've had so many people want to buy us or invest and, they're there. And if I ever want to do that, I can make one call and make it happen. Yeah. But I don't have an MBA. I didn't go to business school. I studied cooking. And I feel like if I had taken on money, I would have missed the opportunity to learn how to do things by sheer experience. And I kind of didn't want to give up that opportunity.
Well, and it sounds like you're able to run the business without raising money.
Yeah. And we've been able to. And it's kind of interesting. Every time I've talked to plenty of investors. Every time I talk to them, they'd be like, so what would you need the money for? And I would say XYZHP. And then I'd be like, wait a second. I think I can figure. And then I'd talk through it with them. And I would leave the meeting and say, you know what? I think we can actually do that right now. Yeah.
And you don't need to.
Yeah. And then I would end up figuring it out and not needing that money. And I just kind of kept pushing ourselves to the next place every time and not need that additional, stress and money from them. I just figured it out with my own team. Or I was like, I can't bring our manufacturing in-house. And then we met the guy that he was the chief manufacturing officer for American Apparel for 16 years. And he's like, I'll help you set up the floors. And I was like, great.
What?
Yeah. That's crazy. He came on board and joined our team.
So he's on.
Yeah. He's on our team. So we have some pretty we're small, but we're mighty. And we have some amazing people that are helping us go to the next level because to your point, this is unusual. It's unusual to have a fully owned company in this day and age. And, we're in the black. We don't have debt. We're not growing at a velocity of a Glossier, but we have full control of what we're doing. And that I love.
That's amazing. So we just saw Allie Webb, mutual friend.
Amazing.
And she said that you're getting married in Mexico City.
I am.
So Mexico City, how did that?
So I'm half Mexican and half English.
Okay.
And when I turned 18, I moved to Mexico City by myself.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Huge.
Thank you. And I've just always loved Mexico a lot. I love the culture. I love how lively and happy Mexico is in general. And so I just thought my fiance and I love going there. So we were like, let's do it. We're going to get married there.
Does your fiance work in the business or?
No, he has a company called Good Magazine and Upworthy. So he's in social impact and went to Brown, wants to save the world, proper human.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
How did you guys meet?
We met here in LA, mutual friend. She was like, she actually said, she's like, I know your future husband. And I was like, what are you talking about? And then she introduced me and I was like, okay, that's true.
That is so funny.
Yeah, he's wonderful. He's very calm and collected, which is perfect balance for me.
That's so great. Well, Good and Upworthy are great content. So
I know. I mean, I'm very inspired by him. So
that's awesome. And then you mentioned you have a pet pig.
Yes.
So tell me, what's his name?
Trusty Oliver. He's very large. He's kind of the size of this table. He's 212 pounds. And
whoa.
Not gonna lie, he's a handful. And we've had him for 3 years.
Can you lift him?
Oh my God, no.
No.
Yeah. No.
You have to
so big.
When you take him to the vet, you have to put him on a leash.
Yeah. Well, let's be real. My vet comes to us now because we can't actually take him to the vet anymore. He's just too big. But yeah, he's gigantic.
Do pigs bite or anything or no?
He's a little feisty. Yeah. So Oliver bites, but if you have a female pig, they're a little bit more chill than a male pig.
Yeah.
But he's domesticated. He never goes pee or poop or anything inside the house. He doesn't smell at all, at all.
I've heard that about pigs.
Yeah. If you follow me at Ellen Marie Bennett on Instagram, that you will see a lot of Oliver action on there.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
And how old is he?
He's 3.5. So but they live for 20 years.
So he's there with
It's a
you.
long
Is he going to
time.
Mexico City with you? or-
No, my God, somebody will turn him into carnitas if I turn around. No, Oliver. Yeah, Oliver is not leaving LA for the
Chorizo.
wedding.
No,
Yeah, exactly. No, it's all right. I'm Jewish and I have a pig and I still eat bacon. So I'm guilty.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. So tell me about the School of Hustle. How did that come about, and do you have something planned for this year?
Yes, we do. So when we turned 5 years old as a company, I was like, I really want to do something that's not just a party, because we are great at throwing parties, but I wanted to give back to our community in a way that was really real and tangible. And I thought, okay, so if we can throw a party, what if we throw a conference and we make the conference all about everything we've learned over the last 5 years? So it's our 5-year anniversary. Here's the tools that we've learned. And so we teamed up with Instagram on it, and we built a gigantic conference, and it was incredible because we got people like Allie and, the president of Williams-Sonoma and Roy Choi and John and Vinny from Animal and Son of a Gun, who are amazing entrepreneurs as well as restaurateurs. And we had all these people come in. We didn't pay anybody to come be a part of it. We just said, we want you to share your journey and share your hustles and everything that you've done to build your life. And they were all like, hell yes. Because everyone has had people in their life that have said, I'm going to help you, right? So you want to give back to the community. And we made it this thing where people had to go online and apply to register. And thousands of people applied, and we only accepted 250 people in. And everyone flew in. I mean, there were people flying in from Canada. It was crazy.
Yeah.
New York, Canada, Boston, all over the country. And we're doing another one this year. And this year we teamed up with Tastemade to do it. So
Super fun.
It's really fun.
Do people pay to go to the conference or
no?
Just,
it's we sponsor it and we team up with somebody to do it, and we just
if you need hint for the conference.
Oh my gosh, done. It's happening.
Yeah,
I would like to request these 2 flavors. Thank you very much.
Pineapple
This one and this one.
Fizz.
Yeah. My favorite is a sparkling blackberry, and then in the flat version, I like the pineapple.
Seriously, we love it. We would love to do that.
Done. You're in.
Yeah.
Done.
Super, super fun.
Yeah.
So what's next for Hedley and Bennett? So I feel like you guys have been through a big transition from, the aprons to.
Yeah, I think we're really morphing into a proper, call it culinary lifestyle brand.
Yeah.
I think that culinary is becoming a lot more important in everyone's lives, and people are thinking about food in a different way, and everything from food to food waste, and how is this a part of our life? And
well, it's funny that, as you're talking about this, I've said this for years, that I feel like people go to a restaurant or they set up a restaurant, whatever end you look at it from, and they forget about a couple of things. They don't forget about the tables and the chairs generally.
Yeah. Yep.
Maybe they used to, but they don't do that anymore. But they forget, if you're a food restaurant, so hint is an unsweetened flavored water.
Yeah.
And our biggest competition is the soda industry. So typically the soda industry provides or partners with restaurants and provides these free dispensing machines in their restaurants for Coke or Pepsi. And there's others, but those are the big ones, right? And, I laugh over the years when I hear these great, healthy, better for you restaurants are serving they're putting so much time and effort into the food. Yeah. And then you can you see on the menu, or you see the machines off to the side where the customers can actually see it, that you've got these Coke and Pepsi brands, right?
Yes, exactly.
And it's kind of did you guys just that to me is maybe more important than having the right table.
Right.
And yet these people forget about it. And I think the aesthetics of the uniforms too, and the consistency, and to your point, the colorful and playfulness of it, and the uniqueness.
And the quality. At the end of the day, it's the quality.
Yeah. And it's maybe best case scenario, they said to the workers, you have to wash your clothes every day. Right. And there can't be any stains on them. Right. But they don't actually try and differentiate, just to have like the same vibe and the same brand that they tried to.
Yeah, it doesn't like permeate. It's all actually off-brand to have, a Coca-Cola machine at a vegan restaurant. You're like, what?
No,
that doesn't even make sense.
It's crazy.
What are you doing there?
And I've had these conversations with so many, and in particular in the last 6 months, and people are really starting to get it.
Yeah.
So I think that this is an aspect, what you guys are doing too, is like people are so ripe for this conversation. It needs to be every single detail of it.
No, absolutely. And we're headed in that direction for sure. I think people are just like so much more educated and aware. And thank God, because we need people to know that. And I think chefs are a big part of that movement of just understanding, what are we eating? Where is it from? How did it get there? What does it do to your body? And
and every
really
aspect about the uniforms too. Yeah. And so I think that's really important. I mean, where did the uniforms come from? Who was actually making them?
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly. It's like for the longest time, it just like showed up in front of you, kind of like meat. Yeah. You're just like, oh, it's just meat. You go to the store and it's a package, but you don't know where that meat came from or what it was like or how it was processed. Same thing with our aprons. Like everything was just from China. Everything was from overseas, and you don't know who's making it, how they're making it, or anything. And in our case, if you come to our factory in downtown LA, you get an open tour of our.
That's really interesting. Have you ever talked to Food Buy?
No.
Do you know who Food Buy is? So Food Buy is the largest food service operator in the country. And they own, I don't know if you've ever heard of Bon Appetit, or Compass Foods, so they are the holding company for all of those. So we have a huge relationship.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
And actually another EY entrepreneur, a guy, his name's Fidel, and I'm going to screw up his last name, so I'm not even going to try, but he is the CEO and founder of Bon Appetit.
Oh, wow.
And so I had met him just from wandering around the EY conference without having a mentor.
Yeah.
I had met Fidel, and anyway, we ended up grabbing lunch. He's up in the Bay Area. And we ended up grabbing lunch one day and talking a little bit about our business. Yeah. And then he made the connection to his parent company, Food Buy.
Oh my gosh, I'd love to meet him.
Yeah. So it's been an amazing connection, but it's interesting because he cares a lot about, so when I say food service, he's not just about, he hires all the staff for Bon Appetit is like the high end of food service operations within companies. So they do Google, he does Nike. Now they've gone into college campuses. So he does Stanford and Duke and UPenn. And
I feel like we might work with them because we outfit Google and Yahoo and Facebook's campuses, like the kitchens. So maybe we already work with Bon Appetit.
I wonder. But you should definitely meet Fidel along the way because it's he's very much about, now, a couple of years ago, he really started to dig into the farms, and he wants to understand the wages of the farms.
I'd love to
and
meet
he's
them.
That's so cool. He's super. So I would think that he'd be very interested in, the uniforms and everything that surrounds that too, and people looking good, and especially since so many of these spaces are out in the open too. They're not behind closed doors where it doesn't fit.
You know what the
vibe.
craziest thing is? I have seen how when people put our aprons on, something psychological happens. They actually lift their head up higher, and they're like, okay, let's do this. And they put it on and they look good and they feel good and they're going to do a better job.
Well, I was just thinking about that too, because open kitchens are pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
Now, right?
Literally everywhere.
That's
chefs are the new rock star.
Yeah.
And we're the ones outfitting those rock stars. So
interesting. Well, this has been really, really fun. We're going to still continue with some rapid fire questions.
Okay. Give it to me.
So what's your favorite hint flavor?
Definitely the sparkling blackberry.
Awesome. Okay. So favorite exercise?
Flywheel. Spinning.
Oh.
I'm dedicated. I lost 15 pounds by doing flywheel for the last 2 months.
What healthy habit makes you feel great about yourself?
I try to drink relatively modestly. So pretty rare, which means 0 hangovers.
Awesome. What habit sabotages your health?
Not sleeping enough.
What ways do you stay healthy when traveling?
I drink a ton of water, and I carry these little protein shakes around so that no matter what, I have like vitamins and the basic nutrients, depending on wherever I am.
What is your favorite restaurant in LA?
Daikokuya, which is a cash-only ramen spot in Little Tokyo.
Oh, interesting. I know, exactly. My favorite healthy meal is?
Oh gosh, no, ramen's not healthy. Okay, my favorite healthy meal I think is, honestly, it's like a bowl of kale with beans, some feta cheese, olive oil, vinegar, like super simple, clean, and then like random veggies in it.
I just got back from Greece, and that's what I was eating in Greece the whole time. That's so funny that you just said that.
That's literally. I like eating food that you know what you're eating. Like, that's kale. That's this. That's that. Like, each thing is what it is.
I love it.
Yeah.
So, top 3 most used apps on your iPhone?
A Color Story, which is a really amazing. She's like, yeah. Social Media Captain approves. Instagram. And Google Calendar. So my entire life runs on Google Calendar. Not iCalendar, not other calendars, Google Calendar.
Oh, interesting. Favorite hobby?
Running, actually. Running and exercising, like extreme sports, I guess. Triathlons, marathons, running, things where I'm very out of my comfort zone.
Are you a morning or evening person?
Morning exercise makes me so on point for the entire day, and virtually anything could happen, and like I have 10 times more resilience the days I work out at Flywheel.
So funny. Are you shorts or legging person?
No, I'm definitely leggings because my legs will chafe.
Favorite artist right now?
Ooh, Ai Weiwei.
Very, very cool.
That's in artist land, but I guess in music, Radiohead for sure, all the way, 100%.
I love it. This is great.
Yay.
Thank you.
You're so welcome, guys.
You can keep up with Ellen on Instagram at Ellen Marie Bennett. That's ELLEN MARIEBENNETT. And be sure to check out her awesome products at hedleyandbennett.com. I love giving away things that are dear to my heart, like Hint Water. So for the next 3 months, I'll be choosing 5 lucky listeners each episode to win a year's supply. To enter, all you have to do is go to karagoldin.com/iTunes and leave a review. That's it. And if I see you tweeting it out and tagging me at Kara Goldin, you will increase your chances of being picked. And as a special thank you to all of our Unstoppable subscribers, for a limited time only, you can enjoy a special hint offer at drinkhint.com/unstoppable. If you like what you heard, please help spread the word and leave us a review. You can also follow along with me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn at Kara Goldin. Do you have a question for me or want to nominate an innovator to spotlight? Please talk to me at Kara Goldin on Twitter. Thanks so much for listening. Until next time, be unstoppable.